Welcome to the Mailbag Show, everybody. A lot of news to get to today. It is Friday afternoon, and we are not going to have Colt McCoy, which means you might not put DeAndre Hopkins in your lineup. It's going to be David Blau. Call David Blau. That's his name. That name again is David Blau.
What's that from? What is that even from?
That's Mr.
No one
Blau
knows
from
that.
Oh, everybody knows Mr. Blau.
That's not a great reference.
It's terrible.
I mean, Adam, the sad thing for you, is you opened the before the show. We were talking off the pod. And you had a great David Blau joke, and it was actually pretty funny. It was clever, and you replaced it with this. Why?
Adam, how many years have you been doing this show?
12, 13.
12 years? All right. So you're not eligible for the Fantasy Hall of Fame. So I'm going to nominate you next year. And when we write up your bio, it's going to be, he loves to sing.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to get – I don't think much is going to get me into that.
I think he's going for the 17-time best male podcast host of the year award next year.
Nominate. Never won. Just nominate.
Nominate, yeah.
That word never exists. Would you like me to tell the David Blau joke?
Let's see what the people think. Go for it.
You can set it up if you'd like.
I wasn't even at Zach set it up. I forgot what.
Zach, you can set it up. Zach,
would you like to set up again?
The David Blau joke. You can do that if you like.
Come on in, Zach. Set it up.
Yeah. So David Blau is starting for the Cardinals this week. Colt McCoy is out. David Blau is also a part-time magician.
That's right.
No, that wasn't a good setup, right?
Well, then you're going to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, what are your expectations for David Blau this week?
There it is.
I think you said, does that help DeAndre Hopkins? DeAndre Hopkins' chances, I said, they're going to make them disappear.
Well, that's a hell of a joke.
Yeah.
It was better when it was actually set up well.
The underlying theme is keep your day job.
I will. Okay, so Lamar Jackson is likely out, and it's really not changing anything. We were planning for that. Several players said that Gardner Minshew got most of the first-team reps at practice, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer. And then the big quarterback news is that David Blau is going to start for the Cardinals. So DeAndre Hopkins, Jamie, also dealing with a knee injury as of Friday afternoon. Now, where do you have DeAndre Hopkins ranked?
When I update it, it will probably be closer to 24. I'm at the point now, and you sort of steered me in this direction, that I might even start Mike Evans over DeAndre Hopkins at this point. Did you see? I tweeted this out. Do you know what his history is against Panthers, Mike Evans?
No.
In his last 5 games against Carolina, no worse than 18 PPR points in every outing. 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. 474 yards receiving, I think, on 36 or 39 catches.
And the angle that I didn't, and they're banged up. The angle that I didn't mention on the podcast, I didn't think about until we did HQ for Mike Evans, was the 1,000-yard thing. He's at 917. 917, and if they win, they clinch. They probably rest their guys in week 18. So he's never had less than 1,000 yards in a season. I'm pretty sure that's an NFL record. Most seasons.
8 straight years. This will be 9 years.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things going in Mike Evans' favor. Let's go.
Yeah, I led the sleepers column with him.
All right. Good stuff.
It's fair that it's funny that at this point in week 17, he's a sleeper, and he's a legit sleeper. Like, he's not someone you would start most weeks.
No.
Right.
But I moved him in my top 24.
Yeah.
What about Dortch and Marquise Brown? I guess the Marquise Brown angle would be if Hopkins somehow doesn't. I wouldn't say somehow if he doesn't play, because I don't know what this knee issue is. But Jamie, what do you think
Marquise Brown? Marquise Brown would go from unplayable to a number 3 receiver if Hopkins is out.
I would rather start Dortch than Brown, honestly. I think there's a better chance when you have somebody like a Blau in there for like designed offense, those designed quick hitters, designed screens, than there is like the type of routes that Marquise Brown is going to run.
I had, if you recall, I gave you the Falcons defense as a streaming option on Tuesday when it was the chance of McSorley playing. I'd go right back to them if you're stuck.
Yeah, I agree.
Antonio Gibson's out. James Conner made it back to practice. So how about James Conner? Dan, does it matter who his quarterback is? It hasn't so far.
No, it hasn't so far. I don't think it does. They want to run the football. When they get in the red zone, they really want to run the football. And so I think he's proven himself as a solid back-end RB2.
All right, let me just for kicks and giggles, let's take a look at David Blau's game log and see who. Oh, that's a lot of games. See who he threw to. I'll try to. up on True Media. Other news: Matt LaFleur was non-committal about Christian Watson.
He's not playing.
Yeah.
What a bummer.
That's such a bummer.
Alan Lazard or Mike Evans?
You say what a bummer, and I agree with you. But I mean, there's still somebody that was probably playing against Christian Watson that's going, yes, no Christian Watson. And then you also have the potential of Alan Lazard now.
Right. So so Alan Lazard or Mike Evans?
Mike Evans.
I'll go Evans too.
I'll go Lazard. How about take that? Okay. More.
I was expecting. I'm a little disappointed. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Yeah. You can make fun.
I just think this. No, I'm not even making fun of you. I'm a little disappointed in the ceiling now for this Packers-Vikings game. I expected Rodgers to go over his passing yards prop and this to be like a pretty good high-scoring game with Watson in. I think when you take out that X factor of Watson, I don't really like what's left in that receiver core. Like maybe Dobbs can make some plays, but it's not like the same kind of juice that Watson adds, the big play potential. So I don't know anymore about that game. If I'm even like as enthused about starting Rodgers or playing those types of players in that passing game.
It's such a bad defense, though.
It is. The matchup's as good as it gets. That's where it starts, but they don't have much left on offense right now, playmaking wise, especially with Jones probably out.
With who?
Okay.
Aaron Jones probably out. Or is he playing?
No, I think he's playing.
I thought he was. Oh, I thought he was going to be out. Okay. Bad update on my end. Jones is going to play. Sorry about that.
Yeah, bad update. It's a really bad update.
Cap still in ceiling as well. Ceiling as well.
So, can you just stop crapping on that game and ruining everyone's fantasy fun, please?
All right.
Nothing really to say here about David Blau.
Crapping on the Packers while wearing a Wisconsin shirt is peak Dan Schneider.
All right, David Blau threw 17% of his passes to running backs in.
I got a great Dan story, by the way.
Okay,
I was hoping you'd forget.
Injuries, real quick.
Yeah.
Vita Vea is going to be a game time decision for the Bucks, but Carlton Davis, their top cornerback, is doubtful, and pass rusher Carl Nassib is doubtful as well. So I would call that good news for DJ Moore and DJ Reader, the best run defender for the Bengals. He missed practice as well. They have the Monday night game, so we'll check in on that on Saturday, I guess. But that's I don't know. With that, if DJ Reader were out, would you move Devin Singletary up, Jamie?
Slightly. I mean, this is still a really good run defense, and this I pray it's 50 pass attempts for those two guys. Like, just let them throw all day. Let both quarterbacks just throw all day, please.
Mecole Hardman is out. And Office Depot, he had a setback apparently. Office Depot says Dan is the type of fella who brings a pepper mill to Olive Garden. I don't get that at all.
Well, the real mistake here by Office Depot is the thought that I would ever even take one step into an Olive Garden my entire life growing up in northern New Jersey. I'm wrong about that?
Olive Garden's
you're an Olive Garden guy?
No, I mean, it's fine.
God, this is your worst take ever.
Yeah, they have great bread.
There goes that sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly, Dan. Will you ever learn?
I get set up every time. Yeah,
no, you didn't set up for anything. You just went on your rant. Like, I'm sorry, Vincenzo is near your house where you grew up in New Jersey. It's not going to sponsor our show. Okay, like I'll go to bite. So,
all right,
all right. What's your Dan story? What's your Dan story, Jamie?
Oh, my Dan story. So, this is bad on my part too. So, as the commissioner of one league, I got some questions about how this happens because I set up the matchups manually. You could clearly do it automatically, but I set up the matchups manually, and so each week I have to go in and set the matchup. So Dave Richard told me that he was in 3 finals against one of our HQ producers, Maron Berkson. So I had already done the other 2, and I got to our Fantasy Football Today league. And I saw that Dave and Maron were in the semifinals. I just quickly looked at those 2 of them. So I just set the matchups as Dave versus Maron. And then for whatever reason, I never really do this, but I was like, oh, let me see if the leagues, make sure I set up right. And I went and looked at the scoring preview. And I saw next to Dave's name, it said L1. And I'm like, he lost? Wait, what? And so then I went back and I checked, and Dan had won. Now, this was over a 24-hour period. Then I sent a message to the league. Congratulations to Dave and to Maron for advancing to the championship. Blah, blah, blah. Never heard a peep from Dan. Not a
That's
word.
unbelievable. You don't even deserve to be in the finals.
That he won. Not only did he, and it's not like now. Thankfully for Dan's sake, waivers run on Wednesday, and I had sent this message Tuesday morning or Tuesday afternoon. So it's not like he didn't miss on a waiver thing or trying to make a claim, but not a word. And then I sent a message to him, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I set up the thing wrong," and it wasn't like, "Oh yeah, I meant to tell you," or "Oh yeah, I can't believe you did that." It was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like,
no, it's not.
Oh, hey, I'm in the finals.
He's the guy who didn't even know he was in the league for 2 months.
And then almost won that league. Yes,
I know.
And I was in the semis for that one. And I've made the semis for that one. So on one hand, it's incompetency. And on the other hand, it's a little bit impressive. But let me defend myself at least here. Here's my take. I think it's very important to be open and honest when you're on a fantasy football show and in life. So let's be honest about the situation. And I think we've all been here. Everyone who's played fantasy football. In this matchup against Dave, it was a semifinal matchup. I had 4 total leagues in the semis last weekend. That one, I dropped to a 22% underdog before the Sunday games. So I put out a tweet like, "Oh man, what do I got to do? I'm going to like Dave's crushing me. Here it is." Cause Dave was talking about his, semifinals matchups, everything of that nature. So I put it out. I was at 22%. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to need a miracle. The next day starts. We have 3 players left. He has Mike Evans. I have Fournette and Christian Watson. I have a 22% chance to win. So I have almost a very long shot. Christian Watson gets hurt, and I go on full tilt. I go on fantasy tilt, and I feel like we've all been there, listeners of the show, you guys included. You go on tilt, you say, screw this matchup. I'm not even checking again. It makes me too angry to look on it. I knew Christian Watson was going to be good. He had early targets. He was looking good. Then he gets an unlucky injury. Screw this one. I focused on the other 3 matchups. And then I was like, in my head, I decided like I can't win unless Christian Watson has a big game. Of course, Leonard Fournette for me had that ridiculous game where he had 9 catches. So it was like a PPR league. So I had like 20 something points. Mike Evans had a usual crap game for Dave. And I came back and somehow won despite being a 22% dog. So I went on full tilt. I never checked it again. And then Jamie texted me and I was like, wait a second. And I looked at the match. I was like, holy crap. I somehow came back and won this. Then I had to try to play it off like I knew the whole time, but Jamie had already been on to me. And Jamie was like, no. I saw your first text. You can't get out of this one. So yes, it was a horrible mistake on my part, but I think we've all been on full tilt before with fantasy football.
So I posted a poll. Who looks worse in this scenario? The dumb commissioner who sent out the message, the loser who advanced and never said anything, in this case is Dave, and the winner who was clueless, in this case in Dan. Almost 4,000 votes. Dan, as the winner who was clueless, looks the worst. 51% of the votes.
And how Dave declared victory, though. That is just crazy.
But Dave didn't say anything either. Dave's like, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Maybe Dave never checked either. Okay, guys, we have FFT and 5 still going strong, and it will be going strong throughout the offseason. So make sure you check out the Fantasy Football Today and 5 podcast for a quick update on everything fantasy football. And Chris will have some really interesting programming during the offseason as well. Next week, he'll be, of course, talking about Week 18, but also talking about top players at each position. We're going to start spinning ahead to 2023. Apple Podcast questions. Let's go to Brooks from America's Finest City. What would that be, Dan?
America's finest city? Finest. Good question. New York City.
Okay. What about Australia's finest city? What's Australia's finest city?
Melbourne. And see, that's how you know I'm
Melbourne? That's how it's pronounced?
Exactly. See, that's how you know I'm a true someone who's been there, unlike you, who just reads on a piece of paper and would assume it's Melbourne, but it's not Melbourne. It's Melbourne.
That is interesting. Yeah. You know what I noticed about Australian accents is that any word that ends with O sounds like R at the end. So, because we're watching Bluey all the time, and they say Bingar, which is for the dog Bingo, and it's like, what? That is so strange. Bingo. Okay, anyway, here's Brooks' question from New York City. Start 3.5 PPR, or let's sit 1. Oh, okay. I shouldn't have read this one. Sit Derrick Henry. Okay, let's go to our next one from Fantasy Football Player 101. I need a wide receiver 2 and a flex. So wide receiver 2, Michael Pittman, Christian Watson, or Chris Olave?
It can't be Watson.
I mean, Watson if he plays.
Yeah, it's definitely Watson if he plays, but we're looking doubtful there. Otherwise, Pittman or Olave, it's not a great.
What's
I'll
the
go Pittman.
What's scoring?
Yeah, what is the
This
scoring format?
is don't know.
I almost feel like I'd play Richie James over all the other two.
Yeah, I would play Richie James if it's PPR. If
Right.
it's non PPR, I might just take a chance on Olave, just with the hope that he scores.
Big play.
Yeah, I mean, if these are the only choices, I'd play Pittman over Olave in full PPR.
Look to see if Richie James is on your wire.
You'd really start Richie James over Pittman?
100%.
Yeah.
It's especially if it's half or full PPR. Why wouldn't I?
Well, I mean, obviously Pittman is the better player. Huh?
What, Adam?
Because Pittman is a PPR guy, so the PPR format doesn't help James more than it helps Pittman. And I mean, I'll give this stat again: the Giants average 25 pass attempts in their wins. So it's just don't get too crazy over what happened against Minnesota.
It's not about what happened against Minnesota for me. It's about what happened the last 2.5 weeks. The Giants just, I don't know if it'll go back. You're right. It might go back to what they were doing earlier this year, but they've really changed what they're doing on offense. It's a lot of shotgun. It's a lot of quick passing, and that is great for Richie James.
All right, the flex.
Slot receivers have killed the Colts. Kenny Moore's been out.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Kenny Moore's out. They have injuries.
Okay, but every receiver kills the Giants. All right, we got Kamara, Ken Walker, and Travis Etienne. He has to choose one of them, and that's going to be Travis Etienne.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, from Steffi Nat. I need a wide receiver and a flex. DJ Moore, Christian Watson, Ken Walker. So obviously this is easy if Watson sits, but if Watson plays, Jamie, who are you sitting? Moore, Watson, or Walker?
I would in PPR.
I don't know.
In PPR, I would sit Walker. In non or half, I would sit Moore.
I would sit Walker in any format of those three.
This is from Baldhead Slick. I love all the long-standing jokes on the show. You have me laughing, but somehow I missed the Eric reference that Adam always alludes to. Is that South Park or that 70s show, perhaps? Please explain. Even Dan knows. It's Billy Madison.
Tell him.
Billy Madison, yeah. And starter sit for the finals in half PPR. Mike Evans, Gabe Davis, A.J. Dillon, Najee Harris.
How many do we need of those?
Just one. Evans, Davis, Dillon, Harris.
To sit one?
No, start one.
I'd start Dillon.
If Jones is now definitely not out. Is that where we're at with this? Or is still questionable?
Jones is in, as far as I know, Jones is playing, but he's playing hurt.
Okay, so he's going to continue to play that limited role. It's between Evans and Dillon for me. I'm really buying into this Evans narrative street thing. I got to be honest with you. 87 yards to go to get that 1,000. I think they're going to try to get him there, but I'll still go Dillon here. It's a good matchup.
All right, this is a lot of scoring. Taco Cluster. Jamie, are you still a Taco Tuesday guy? You used to love Taco Tuesday.
I do.
Do you make them or do you buy them?
Oh, I'm well past the point of making tacos during football season. Luckily, my wife will make toast at this point. No, no, she's a great cook. She does on occasion, but not on Tuesdays fully.
Okay.
No, so Jamie's always going to Tijuana Flats. He goes every Tuesday. He's like,
not anymore.
Spot.
Not anymore. I try, but not as consistently.
I don't know that spot. I'll have to check it out next time I'm down there.
Yeah, you won't like it. It's not like you're gonna be a food snob about it, I'm sure. Because
you said I'll be annoying.
Okay.
Food snob.
Half PPR. Pick two flexes. Pacheco, Foreman, Deontay, and Bam Knight. Pacheco, Foreman, Deontay Johnson, Bam Knight. Pick two in half PPR.
I'm gonna go Foreman and Knight.
I'll go Foreman, Pacheco.
PPR flex, no name on this one. Jerry Jeudy or David Montgomery?
Jeudy
for PPR for sure.
From the real Mike G. Salary cap league with keepers. Oh, this is a good question here. This is my last opportunity to pick up and stash some $1 keepers. Is there anyone out there that is currently not rostered in many leagues that I should be targeting that you guys think might hit next year?
Okay, so
I just picked up Jordan Love in a dynasty league. He might be somebody worth taking a shot on in case Aaron Rodgers retires.
That's a great call, especially super flex or 2QB. That's an amazing call. Let's think of other players who, as we usually leagues cut it off. Zamir White. It's a good one. Who else? Let's think of who else are the big free agent running backs coming into this year. Got to know free agency. I wish I had looked this one up. This is on me.
No, it's all right.
All right.
Rashad White, maybe.
How deep are we talking?
Yeah, he's already rostered. It's got to be non-rostered players. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm good with Jordan Love and Zamir White, and I don't know.
I'm trying to think anybody who was. I have some interest in. I know I said this a long time ago. David Bell. I want to see
David Bell's a good one. How about because he looked pretty good when he had a decent chance to get running this year. Terrace Marshall start to look a little good if they can get a quarterback upgrade down there, maybe in Carolina. Yep. I like that. Look for like second and third year wide receivers. Kind of take a look through all those guys. Just take a look at NFL draft history and look for anyone who hasn't really broken out or is not roster right now, and on a team that could get a quarterback change or upgrade, because we're going to see a ton of quarterback movement this offseason, which I'm really excited for. Derek Carr is going to be on the move, Jimmy G, probably a few others. So we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah. How about Trey McBride? And if he's not available, how about Daniel Bellinger? He's actually, I think, been pretty good for a rookie.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Great calls. I wish I knew like how deep it is, because like you could get situations where somebody like Rashad Bateman might have been dropped. You know what I mean? Like,
true. That's a good point. Yeah. Bateman you should definitely look for those IR guys.
Yep.
Those are the best ones to scoop.
Okay. This one comes from Nal820. 2 championships. One is half PPR, $600 on the line. The other is full PPR, $1,000 on the line.
Wow.
Okay. Would you flex Jahan Dotson or Juju Smith-Schuster, Jawan Johnson or Taysom Hill? Let's start with those two. So Jahan Dotson or Juju, and Jawan Johnson or Taysom Hill?
I would go Juju and Taysom.
I'm definitely on Juju, and I think I have to play Taysom as well there. I don't think it's going to be as good a game script, but I still would prefer him over Jawan.
And pick 2 running backs: Akers, Montgomery, James Cook, Gus Edwards, Mostert, and Zach Moss.
First 2.
Yeah, those are the first 2 that came to mind. Who was the third? Oh, James Cook. Yeah. I don't think I could play Cook over those 2, though. I do kind of like Cook, but no.
Goff or Minshew?
Goff.
Yeah, Goff at home against the Bears. Can't turn it down.
Pick a flex: Ramondre Stevenson, Ken Walker, Tyler Algier, Cortland Sutton, blah, blah, blah. So one of the first 3: Stevenson, Walker, Algier.
Ramondre.
Yeah, I would go Stevenson for sure. I think he has the highest ceiling, but by far.
All right, man. You better win $1,000. All those questions you asked. One more Apple Podcast question here. I'm in the championship this week against my brother. It is full PPR, 3 wide receivers. I have to start one of these guys: DJ Moore, DJ Chark, Jahan Dotson.
Moore for me, for sure.
Yep.
I like DJ Moore this week.
Okay. Just want to read one comment here before we go to break. It is from Barry, and he says, Adams, David Blau, Simpsons homage was... Thank you very much, Barry.
Nobody handpicks positive comments about himself more than Adam Azer. On a single show on YouTube in the history of this platform, no one handpicks the comments better. All I see from Adam is... Go ahead, James.
Is it homage or homage?
Homage, not homage. You pay homage to something, or you do an homage to something.
Yeah, that's actually right. Damn it.
Part of the speech, yeah.
I was hoping Adam was wrong, but he was right.
That's okay. I think you said, what did you say earlier, Dan, that I was going to make fun of you for, but I didn't. Now I will.
You got to remember first.
You put a Y at the end of a word, like something like lazy. Oh, man, what was it? I don't know. It was dumb. Okay, well, I guess I didn't teach you that in Australia. We'll be back.
Olive Garden.
With the Olive Garden.
Don't bring me back to that, please.
We'll be back with the Fantasy Cops after this on Fantasy Football Today. Last Fantasy Cops of the season. Here we go. Our first one comes from Amar Jeet. That I definitely did not pronounce right. I need your help. I play in a fantasy league that has been running for 16 years. During the semifinals, we had a tie in one of the matchups. We've always used bench points as the tiebreaker during the season, and so the league assumed that the team with the higher bench points would be in the finals. However, ESPN advanced the other team per their default settings, ESPN's default settings, which uses the best record to advance during a tie in the playoffs. We need your help to decide if we should use the commonly known tiebreaker rule, bench points, or stick to the ESPN settings that no one was aware of to advance the teams. Lots of drama in the league now over this. Please help. I will donate $100 to a charity of your choice if you provide a decision on the air.
Oh.
There's the Jamie Eisenberg beer fund. I'll appreciate that one.
You're not even a beer guy, are you?
Send the money, St. Jude.
That's
I think if you have league settings, that's the rule. You go by your own rules, your own bylaws.
Yeah, you already decided this was the law. I think one thing you guys need, people need to do to change this league moving forward is consider fractional points. Why was there a tie? Most likely because you guys are playing without fractional points, right? Like if there were fractional points, it's a very highly unlikely situation this could ever end in a tie. So make the move to fractional points. I would even consider saying we're using fractional points moving forward, and this matchup will be decided by fractional points because that's a better indicator than bench points. It's the true points.
Fractional points or decimal points?
I thought it was called fractional points.
It's what
fractional scoring.
They call it fractional in Australia. It's decimal.
No, it's called fractional scoring. I guarantee you, I'm gonna look at our CBS page after this. I guarantee you it says fractional scoring in the settings. We'll find it out later. I'll come back to you. But use fractional scoring. This is the true way. That's the actual matchup will determine itself, not your bench. So
I can't take Dan on the toilet talking about fractional points.
Everybody in the chat thinks he's on the toilet. I don't get it.
What?
David I don't see it, Dan, but David A wants everyone to donate to the Adam Pest Control Fund, which I totally am on board with as well. Listen, your tiebreaker is bench points. That is probably the worst. I don't even know. Probably the worst tiebreaker you can have. Bench points stinks, but it is your tiebreaker, so use it. Yeah. All right, next Fantasy Cops is from Joe. Joe said, my sister was colluded against in her league. The commissioner's husband, who's in the consolation bracket, dropped Kirk Cousins for Ryan Tannehill before the semifinals. This was after Tannehill had ankle surgery. My sister asked for a league veto and was denied by the commissioner. My sister played the commissioner in the semifinals and lost by 4. The commissioner started Kirk Cousins and ordinarily would have played Derek Carr, and then he would have lost. How should the Fantasy Cops rule in this matter?
That's obvious collusion right there, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts here.
How do we prove
dropped Kirk Cousins for Tannehill in a non-keeper league. That's how you prove. It's hard to prove, actually. You're right. The proof, if you're looking for hard proof here, you could just, well, what's his rationale? You have to look at it logically, right? What would be the point of scooping up Ryan Tannehill if it's not a keeper league?
So who did Tannehill play last week, just in case they had some? Oh, they had the Texans. I mean,
he was already placed on IR, they said.
No, he wasn't on IR. He just had the ankle surgery, I guess.
Oh, well, he's probably not going to play 3 days later after ankle surgery.
This is really fishy to me. And you're in the consolation bracket. I think I would veto it.
I would veto.
So what do you do? Do you change the result of the game and
change the result of the game?
This person's.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. Okay. That's going a little too far. I shouldn't go down those waters. I wouldn't change the result of a game at this point. I would actually potentially consider kicking both the commissioner and that person kick the commissioner out of his own league. And obviously you get rid of the person. I have a no tolerance policy for collusion. I consider this, unless the commissioner has a good excuse for why they picked up Kirk Cousins days after this mysterious person decided to cut Kirk Cousins for Ryan Tannehill. Unless there's a good explanation that I didn't think that was I need proof that the commissioner wasn't in on this, right? Don't you need proof?
Their husband, in case anyone's forgotten, this is the husband and wife. The commissioner is married to the person who dropped Kirk Cousins.
The commissioner is married to, then come on here.
It's collusion. You know what? It's collusion. I would overturn the result. I would put Joe's sister in the championship.
You have to, right?
Yeah, it's collusion. You should lose for that. Play it for the husband and wife, and I really want to know what they say. Let me know. All right, last one.
I have a bonus one too, Adam, by the way.
Okay. All right, I'll set aside 10 minutes. Mark from Buffalo. There was a rule posted before the playoffs that all eliminated teams couldn't make any ad drops.
Yes.
The process needed to be manually policed, though, since the site doesn't allow team-specific ad drop restrictions. 1 week into the playoffs, an eliminated team dropped Kendrick Bourne. After Bourne had a good game, the commissioner then added Bourne to play against me in the championship. When I pointed out the rule posted before the playoffs, he called me a drama queen and proceeded to tell me that it wasn't a big deal, but we'll make the change. Fantasy Cops, I need your help. Was this a fantasy crime that the commissioner was trying to get away with?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
100%.
clear as day. Right?
Also, every good commissioner won't just make this like a unwritten rule. They'll actually go in every week, which I do in all my leagues, and lock the teams that are out of the playoffs. You can do it on the website.
On this form, on this website. This is what he said.
Okay. Well, then, either way.
Also, I would like to confess to something that I did do that. I'm sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I did do that in a league, and I locked one of the playoff teams' rosters. So
by mistake. You would.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who'd you lock? Tell me, Brinson.
This guy Casey in our podcast for the People League. He's in the finals, and there's no harm, no foul, thankfully. But all right, what's your bonus fantasy cops, Dan?
Bonus fantasy cops. 2 things you guys are gonna have to weigh in on. A friend of mine, she was not new to fantasy football, but pretty new to fantasy football. Couldn't make her draft this year. She got really, really sick. So she knows me. I'm her friend. Obviously, I'm an industry person. So I drafted the team for her, but it's not like she advertised it to the league. She didn't say like, hey guys, I have a friend who also works in the industry. He's going to draft for me this year. So no one knows of that. So I draft her team, and I drafted a really good team. And right now she's made it all the way. And I've helped her with waivers and lineup, but she's done a lot of that on her own. It's been only a little bit of me throughout the season management wise. Anyway, she makes it to the playoffs. She makes the semifinals. She wins last week in the semis. We go to the finals. And now I'm pretty invested in this because yeah, I consider it a we at this point. I drafted the team. We've been talking about it every week. She's really into it. She's never been into fantasy football before in her entire life. I'm excited about that. I got her really into the game. And it's a pretty decent league with a pretty good sized pot. And it's, let's just say, I can't give away too much, but it's a league full of people who have been on TV, and they've been on TV on a show on Paramount Plus. So that you can find on Paramount Plus. So that's some information right there. Anyway, this week, I start to really get into the weeds of it. I want to help her win her championship. So I notice on her opponent's roster, his only 2 QBs are Lamar Jackson and Gardner Minshew. Jackson hasn't practiced this week, might not play. Gardner Minshew may not play. So I looked at the lineup that she has. I locked in all the players I want to start. I don't have that many decisions. And I used those final bench spots to scoop up Trevor Lawrence and all these other quarterbacks that were on the waiver wire, 3 or 4 quarterbacks. Just in case Gardner Minshew doesn't play and Lamar Jackson doesn't play, the opponent has no other quarterbacks, has to then go to the waiver wire and pick up one of the scrap heaps left because I benched all the good ones. Now, she sends me a chat last night from her league group chat, like, oh my God, look at what I shouldn't have said the name. Look at what happened. Look at what she did here. And then somebody responds, this is a championship move. Great job by her. What a good move. The other people are like, this is Bush League, blah, blah, blah. So what do you guys think in 2 fronts? 1, is it okay to help someone like ghost draft and help a team? And 2, are those moves all right?
Jamie?
I think it's perfectly fine to help somebody else. There's nothing against that. That's what we obviously do for a living. You're just doing it, for an individual. So no, it's not a bad situation at all. It's a little Bush League to do the stealing all of the players at one position.
The stashing?
Not at all. Not at all. It's fine. The Bush League thing is picking them up and then dropping them to put them back on waivers.
Right. I didn't do any of that.
If you keep them on your bench, I think it's fine. I think you nailed it.
Thank you. I thought it was good strategy. If I had done the drop and add thing, Jamie, I would agree with you. But I'm not like picking them up, cutting them, so they hit waivers. I'm just stashing them.
Yeah, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Jamie knows the best quarterback available.
Now it's going to be like Purdy or something like that. It's not ugly. It's pretty. It's pretty ugly. It's Purdy, Mac Jones, but I think Gardner is going to play anyway, so it won't matter.
Purdy's not bad.
Yeah, he's an okay play this week.
It's not Trevor Lawrence though. I can't believe Trevor Lawrence is on the waiver wire. That's wild.
Yeah.
All right. So I was thinking the other day, I haven't heard from that schmuck who always calls me Adam Numbnuts and makes fun of me about Devontae Smith, because Devontae Smith is just going crazy. But here he is 3 minutes ago Right in the chat. Hey, Adam, no, how's Delonte Smith? I don't understand this guy. I don't understand his goals. I don't understand if he hates me, if he's joking around, or if he's a jerk.
I do really like the name Adam Numbnuts. I got to be honest. It's pretty great.
I don't like Don. I really don't like him. I think he's a mean guy. And he just gave me a lot of grief for talking about Devontae Smith when I wasn't even really doing that. But I hope I was talking about Devontae Smith now, because now I look like a damn genius.
He's had a breakout season.
Don. Yeah, hell yeah, man. He's awesome. He's the freaking man. All right.
Donnie,
we got some emails. What'd you say?
He's a Donnie Dummy. That's your comeback. Donnie Dumb Nuts.
I can do better than that. All right. FantasyFootball@cbsi.com is our email address. First email comes from Andrew. He's in the finals for the 4th time in 5 years. He lost Kupp, Javonte, and Pierce, and he drafted Russell Wilson, and he's still in the finals. He says he's like the 90s Bills, except I've won 2. All right. Good for you, Andrew. So would you start Brian Robinson or Jerick McKinnon in PPR? And the second question is Chark, Gabe Davis, or Romeo Doubs?
I would start McKinnon because it's PPR. I know there's a lot of sleeper potential for Robinson this week, and a lot of people like the play this week, and I don't mind it, but full PPR, I'm going McKinnon. And then I'm definitely going with Gabe Davis in that last one. I am hopeful that what Jamie said earlier will come true, and it's a bit of foreshadowing that we're going to see a lot of pass attempts and a lot of pass offense in that Bills-Bengals game, and so that will help Gabe Davis.
I'd go McKinnon as well. What were the other choices? Gabe Davis knew?
Dobbs. And
Chark.
Something else. And Chark.
I might go Chark over Gabe Davis. I just think there's going to be a lot of points in the Bears-Lions game as well. Sure. You have controlled environment. Chark has been really good at home. Bears secondary not good. He's coming up a 100-yard game against the Panthers. I know Jameson Williams is expected to play more, but I just think Goff goes off this week.
I have some news updates real quick here. I got Kamara is going to play. Lamar Jackson is not going to play. And Cardinals cornerback Antonio Hamilton is not going to play. And Marco Wilson, another defensive back, he may not play. Budda Baker's already out. This is, for a team that's always good against number ones, they have like nothing right now. So good stuff for Drake London. Here is a question from Brandon from a city west of Yuma. I have no idea.
Where is Yuma? Feels sounds west. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll just say San Francisco, the Pacific Northwest of San Francisco. Who should I start at quarterback? Minshew, Mike White, Brock Purdy, or Geno Smith?
Minshew for me, as long as he starts.
Yeah, I'd go with the Minch. I also go with the Minch.
All right, let's give him a backup. Oh, he has Hurts, so I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
From John, who would you sit in full PPR? Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, or Jerick McKinnon, or ETN?
I'd sit Aaron Jones.
Yeah, out of that group, I would too. Especially chance of re-injury.
Maybe tell me if this is true. From our chat, Jamie is secretly trying to get Dan to go on a rant so he can check his email.
I'm checking updates whenever I see my Twitter notifications pop up. I'm looking to see if there's somebody injured. So like Lamar Jackson thing popped up while Dan was on his rant.
Yeah, he's on our breaking news. He's on the breaking news duty. I'm on the rant duty.
Yeah,
and I'm also on the toilet enjoying myself. What is the toilet reference? I don't understand it. I'm in a regular seat here. It's because I don't cut off. I guess I got to cut off. Oh no,
no, don't go down. Please don't go down.
Don't go down.
You do look a little bit less on the toilet now. Well, the thing is, like, I can't see the back of your chair, so it would be a toilet seat. And then you got like a nook in your room where you're sitting, and so it kind of looks like a stall, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. Plus, it stinks. All right. Here's from Patrick in Victoria, British Columbia. 2 receivers, a running back, and a flex. All right, let's get 2 receivers out of Devontae Smith, DJ Moore, Jahan Dotson, and Deontay Johnson.
First 2 for me.
Jerick McKinnon, Rashad White, and Tyler Algier. We need 1. Half PPR.
Ooh. I'm going to go Algier.
I'll go McKinnon.
Right, who's your flex? Dotson, Deontay, the other running back.
McKinnon.
I'll go Dotson.
Okay. From Kyle, hey, Johnny, Ray, Cal, and Eddie. Huh. Those feel like Baltimore Orioles.
Johnny, Ray, Cal, and Eddie. Yeah, I don't know.
Cal Ripken, Eddie Murray.
Oh. It's almost like he used to host a baseball podcast.
Ray Knight, did he play for the? I feel like Ray Knight played for the Royals. He did. And yes, he did for 1 year. And I have no idea who Johnny is. Okay, fighting for third place in a fantasy league. Who do I start in a half PPR league? 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and a flex. So the 2 running backs: Najee Harris, Aaron Jones, and Tyler Algier.
Algier, Jones, Harris.
Okay, so Sid Harris from that group. 2 receivers: Lazard, Pittman, Chark, London, Boyd.
Lazard, Pittman, Chark, London, Boyd. I'll go London, Lazard.
Agree.
Okay, and then need a flex: Najee Harris, Pittman, Chark, Boyd.
Najee.
Yeah, more volume there.
PPR league from Jimmy: Josh Jacobs or Tyler Algier.
It's gonna sound crazy, but I might go Algier.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing here. Worried about how much of Jacobs we're going to see.
I mean, it's so interesting how, different people see things different. Like I got into it a little bit. I sort of regret it with Chris on the live stream on Thursday, because he said somebody's Josh Jacobs question. He said it's Josh Jacobs and it's easy. I was like, it's not easy. There's a lot not to like about Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
And he was adamant, and I don't know. I mean, Chris has a thing where he just always favors the pass catching running backs, and a lot of times it works out. It's worked out for him recently. I thought he was insane for having Ezekiel Elliott 18th in his running back rankings, and that's when he and I kind of got into it a little bit. So I'm sorry about that.
Well, I think
he should be.
But
I think in regards to Jacobs, if you tell me right now that he's definitely playing, then I think it's easy. Is he going to get his snaps cut at any point? If I'm him personally, I sit.
Yeah, I know, right?
I would tell Josh McDaniels, don't play me.
Right. Season's over. I'm hitting free agency. Yeah.
Right.
I would not play if I was him.
And the guy he's competing with for the rushing title didn't play.
Right.
On Thursday. So he may have that thing locked up anyway.
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway, I understand the appeal.
Millions.
Yeah.
He could.
And they didn't pick up his option, so there's nothing guaranteed.
In a PPR league, going for the guy who catches passes. But the other problem is he's got 7 catches in his last 4 games. It's not even like he's solid there. He's got 7 targets. He's got 8 targets in his last 4 games.
It's a pretty tried and true situation over the last 2 years. When somebody has been missing, he's been fantastic in the passing game. Last year it was when Waller and Kenyon Drake got hurt. This year is when Waller and Renfrow got hurt. I mean, it's now granted there's a quarterback change, and so Stidham may feature him more than Carr ever did. We don't know, but this could be an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster.
Yeah, I'd still start him over Algier, but I get all the concerns.
Yeah.
Dustin in Miami. Dear Huey, Dewey, and Louie. All right, so 2 Algiers and a Jacobs. Dear Huey, Dewey, and Louie, were you DuckTales guy, Dan?
No. Would have never guessed that. DuckTales a cartoon, I assume?
You don't know? What? Wait a second. What? You don't know what DuckTales is?
Barely, if anything. Couldn't even tell you what it looked like. What channel?
They're cartoon ducks. Disney. It's a Disney show.
No, I don't watch. I was watching Nickelodeon cartoons.
Listen to the DuckTales theme song. It's one of the best TV theme songs, legitimately.
You know what? I don't watch TV. I don't watch kid TV shows unless they're hosted by Dave Azer.
Zach Moss or Evan Ingram, non-PPR?
Evan Ingram.
Really? That's a question.
I love Evan Ingram this week. Oh, you said really in that sense.
PPR. Non-PPR.
I
still am going Ingram. Yeah. His role is solidified.
All right. Max wants to know, do I stick with Zach Moss or go with Jahan Dotson? He's trailing big right now.
Dotson.
Oh, Sorry, this is non-PPR also.
Yeah, but if you're trailing big, it's still Dotson, right?
I guess.
Has to be trailing big.
He's got much more touchdown potential.
Exactly.
From Phil in Atlanta. Dear Eli, Jeff, and Phil.
Oh, those are Giants quarterbacks. I finally got one. How could I miss that one?
What do they have in common?
They've all won Super Bowls.
That's right. So 12-team PPR, start 3 receivers and 2 flex. I'm starting Chris Godwin. He needs 4 other players from this group. 2 of them have to be receivers. Evans, Pittman, Gabe Davis, Sutton, Slayton, Dortch, Richie James. Oh, they're all receivers.
What are we at? Full PPR? All right. What do we say about PPR?
Evans, Pittman, Davis, Sutton, Slayton, Dortch, James.
Evans.
Yeah, Evans is the easy one.
Yeah. And
I kind of like Sutton this week.
I wouldn't do Sutton, though I do kind of like him. Who was that? There was one in. Oh, Gabe
I got
Davis.
this. I'll give my 4. I'm going Evans, Pittman, Sutton, Gabe Davis.
I would go Evans, Sutton, Davis, Dortch.
Evans, Sutton, Davis, Richie James for me if it's full PPR.
I can't really believe the disrespect for Michael Pittman.
Oh, James is part of the group?
I have no interest in Michael Pittman whatsoever.
Oh, none. Yeah. I would go with Evans, Davis, Sutton, and James.
I don't care who's playing corner for the Giants this week. I have zero respect or interest in anything going on with that Colts passing game after what I watched on Monday night.
You know how bad their passing game has been? He's got...
Do you know what they're going to do? Watch this happen.
Games. Hold on. He's had like something like 6 games this year where he scored 12 and a half or more PPR fantasy points where they've thrown for fewer than 220 yards.
And tell me how many of those games...
First game with at least 7 targets where he scored fewer than 10 PPR points.
Right. So it could be better this week. It doesn't mean
it could be worse.
It could be.
He may not get 7 targets.
Right.
Foles threw 3 picks. He was sacked 7 times.
Right.
I mean, that was at home.
That was at home. Exactly. In good weather. And that was against a defense coordinator who's not going to do exactly what Wink Martindale is going to do, which is blitz.
He's going to blitz the snot out of him.
Just every play.
Okay, so what? So obviously they're going to be prepared for that. I mean,
are they?
Are they going to be prepared for that? Now he has 2 weeks of practice. Nick Foles with this group. Come on, a week and a half.
My point is they've had a bad quarterback all year,
but nothing like this.
No, there's a huge difference. Like
yes,
I know Matt Ryan's bad, but don't even put Matt Ryan in the Nick Foles category. That's just awful. He is.
And it's not like I don't want to kill Nick Foles. I think if Nick Foles had the full offseason to work with these guys, he'd be better than he does now. A little bit better. Probably not much. But
that was not Nick Foles. Nick, you're underrating Nick Foles. He's a quality backup quarterback.
I'm underrating Nick Foles.
I'm not saying he's great. He's a quality backup quarterback. What he did last week was he went out and played with basically no practice time, barely having been with the team. It wasn't he's not nearly as bad.
First off, let me ask you a question. Who looked better? Nick Foles last week or Josh Dobbs last night?
Josh Dobbs. But that doesn't mean anything.
That's a good point, by the way. No, that's a great point by Jamie.
You just killed Nick Foles for not having time to be with the team and not having practice time. Josh Dobbs has been with the team for 8 days. 8 days.
Okay, who won a Super Bowl? Who won a Super Bowl? And go back and look at
Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl.
No, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl. He played very well.
I'm quoting Pete Prisco, and he's 100% right. It's the greatest accident in the history of the NFL.
It doesn't matter what Pete Prisco said. Okay, go look at the other starts that Nick Foles has made. If you look at what Nick Foles has done, like what he did last year with the Bears,
I am not saying look at Nick Foles outside of the Super Bowl run.
And look at Matt Ryan.
And you're also talking about something that's nearly 10 years old at this point.
Yeah.
No, it's 5 years old. And like, I get it. I'm not saying Nick Foles is good. I'm saying he's a lot better than what he was 2 nights or 3 nights or whatever.
Yes, he is better than what he is last week, but he's not even in the same class as Matt Ryan this year.
I'll be stunned if Nick Foles gets to 200 yards passing.
Matt Ryan's one of the worst quarterbacks in football. Matt Ryan's one of the worst quarterbacks.
Nick Foles is worse.
Nick Foles is worse.
This version of Nick Foles is worse.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
First off, any version of Nick Foles is worse than any version of Matt Ryan ever. I don't care what you say.
I agree with that too. Yeah.
This version of Nick Foles, this version of Nick Foles is Trace McSorley, Jimmy Clausen bad.
Without any athleticism. I agree with that. Without any athleticism.
More athletic than Matt Ryan.
Not Trace McSorley. Yeah.
Not really.
Yes, really. He's more.
This is going to be. You'll see, Adam. I'll be.
Matt Ryan has one of the longest runs in the NFL for a quarterback this year.
Adam,
Look,
if I
Nick
told you
Foles played
over
one
under
game.
175 yards for Nick Foles, you'd probably take the under, right?
Over? The over. Yes.
Okay. It's not going over. And if that's the case, if you would have wisely taken the under because it's going to go under, you would know that how are we going to get there with Pittman if we're not going to get there with Foles?
Because I just told you that Pittman has had because he'll give you 6 catches for 60 yards. It's not like a great game or anything. It's just
I don't see a 6 for 60 coming.
All right.
At best, I could see maybe 6 for 40. I mean, this is bad, dude. I don't know why you're buying into Nick Foles.
The yards per catch will be under like 6.
The hell to die on.
Yeah,
that really is not what's. Are you kidding me? Did I say anything of that nature? I don't. Nick Foles.
You just said Nick Foles has a better career than Matt Ryan because he won a Super Bowl.
Oh my God! I did not say that. Are you crazy? Oh my gosh! No, I'm saying that the Michael Pittman has had bad quarterback play all year, and he's a better receiver than Richie James. And the Giants probably aren't going to throw the ball that much.
I guess I can go ahead and flush this toilet behind me because my work's done here. We got Adam on full tilt.
Because Jamie takes what I say, and he creates a completely different sentence, basically. Like and he knows it too. All right. Anyway, Pacheco or Ayuk from Lamine in Washington D.C.
PPR.
Ayuk for sure if it's full PPR.
And from John, would you start Dotson, Thielen, or Zay Jones?
Dotson.
Dotson.
All right, YouTube, you're up. Amy is so good at starting rants. You're right. I'd be good at it too if I could make up my own storylines. But
I didn't make up a storyline. I just at the end.
You kind of you walked yourself into that one, Adam. Let's be honest.
You literally just defended Nick Foles for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Last year he made one start for the Bears. He was 24 of 35 for 250 yards and a touchdown. I'm saying he's not. As far as backup quarterbacks go, you could do worse than him. But he was.
We're not worried about that. We're worried about can he make something out of Pittman this week? That's the question. As far as if
he can make 6 for 60 out of Pittman.
I think Jamie had it right. 6 for 44, 6 for 43, something really low on a yards per catch basis. They're not going to be.
Okay, great.
Where are they going?
Now I'm rooting against the Giants. I'm rooting for Michael Pittman to have a huge game. Great. This is great stuff. Thank you.
Listen, I love Michael Pittman. I hope he has a good game. But Nick Foles is absolutely. He is honestly if you're talking about right now from the bottom up, the worst quarterbacks for Week 17, it's probably David Blau and then him.
I'd almost think I would at least consider taking David Blau over him because we haven't at least seen David Blau. Nick Foles performing.
You have a better
O-line. Yeah, exactly. I would take David Blau over him.
What if Matt Ryan were starting this week? He wouldn't be toward the bottom.
Matt Ryan is competent. He knows how to read a defense.
Matt Ryan's exactly, and he's played within the system. That's the biggest difference here. He has some time with the receivers, some rapport. Like when you heard what you said, remember?
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the key here.
I understand.
They look totally out of sync. Everything was way off with that passing game.
Okay. Michael Pittman had 7 catches for 53 yards with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback. Ehlinger threw for 201 yards, no touchdowns.
Against who?
Against the Washington Commanders, a much better team a much better defense than the New York Giants.
And I think if Sam Ehlinger came in to start this game, I would feel more confident in Michael Pittman.
Okay, because the next week, Sam Ehlinger threw for 103 yards and Michael Pittman had 22 yards, but we don't have to talk about that. All right, let's read your
what we're
question.
Looking at this week.
100. Okay. Then the Giants are going to the playoffs. Walker, Algier, or Devontae Smith at flex? Who you got? Walker, Algier,
Devontae.
Delevante, whatever the guy said. Numbnuts Smith.
Numbnuts Adam. Numbnuts Azer.
Need help at flex. Zay Jones, Gabe Davis, or Devin Singletary?
Zay Jones.
Gabe for me.
Okay. Aaron Jones, Zay Jones, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, and Carson Wentz. Is this a super flex PPR?
Probably.
Who you get the bench 2 of this group? Aaron Jones, Zay Jones, Watson, Lockett, Wentz.
Assuming everybody plays, I would bench Zay Jones and Aaron Jones.
Same.
Assuming Watson is out, I would bench Watson and Zay Jones.
Yep, I'm the same way. That Wentz is the one that has to be locked in.
Kamara or Algier in PPR?
Algier had more catches last week than Alvin Kamara had the last 2 games. So if you're talking about eliminating catching from Kamara's game, which it seems like the Saints have, Algiers in a better matchup.
Okay, you going Algier?
Yep.
I'm going with Algier as well. I've been very down on Kamara.
Give me a running back, a wide receiver, and a flex. Pacheco or Fournette, half PPR.
Fournette.
Yeah, definitely. And I would go receiver out of that group, Judy.
Yes.
Oh, and a flex. And a flex is needed. I'm going to go DJ Moore for the flex.
Agree with all that.
I'm going to take Juju over. Oh, half PPR? Yeah, I'll take Juju. Juju. But you guys will take...
Did you see the news on Hurts?
Yeah.
What was it? I just popped up, but I didn't see it.
Doubtful.
Jalen Hurts is doubtful, but making strides. So if he needs, I'm sure if he needs to play next week to beat the Giants when they lose to the Colts.
I wonder if Minshew struggles if they make him active, though. If he struggles,
just in case, yeah.
Gosh. Okay, stop asking that question. I answered it already. It's bothering me. Walker or Brian Robinson?
I'm gonna go Robinson with the news.
Me too. I like Robinson as sneaky play.
The Gibson news?
Yeah.
Yep.
Robinson or Rashad White and Sutton, Boyd, Peoples-Jones. Let's start Robinson over Rashad White.
Robinson, yep.
Sutton, Boyd, Peoples-Jones, or Chark. Pick two.
I'm gonna go Sutton and Chark.
Same.
Njoku or Fant?
Njoku.
Yeah.
Hawkinson or Kittle?
Kittle.
Hawkinson, but it's close.
I like Kittle. But the matchup's great for
Start two.
Well, Adam did yell at us about our rankings, so he would go Kittle too.
Okay.
No, I'll go Hawkinson.
A lot of yelling from Adam. It sounds like Adam just having a week just screaming at people.
Adam's fantasy roster for this lineup with this week. No restrictions. If you can just pick any roster you want to be. Foles a quarterback. Pittman. You honestly better play a DFS lineup with Foles and Pittman.
And Pittman,
No.
Yeah, you should stack those two. You think they're gonna at least get
Are you
to
crazy?
6?
I don't. 6 for 60 is all I'm asking for.
First off, that's how you win $1 million. By the way, if they hit, that's how you win. You should absolutely play a dollar lineup. Whatever you're not gonna win $1 million, but play a dollar lineup.
And honestly,
with a Foles Pittman stack, just for fun.
Honestly, that might be if we're looking for just one thing, that might be the thing that tilts it in your favor as far as best male podcast host of the year goes. You've been nominated 17 years in a row. You've never won, but you've been nominated. If we want the win, you got to hit on something like that.
Let's start two of this group: Ingram, Hawkinson, DeAndre Hopkins.
Ingram, Hawk for me.
Yeah.
All right. I think the lack of a backrest is what make it look like a toilet.
I need to get it. There is a backrest here. It's just not like. See, there is something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is a toilet look. I got to figure this out.
I had to buy a toilet.
I got to figure this out. I don't want it to be looking like I'm on a toilet.
Schneier, I feel like you have no idea about these types of things. How much do you think it costs to buy a new toilet?
You're right. I have no idea. I rent. So let's see.
You rent a
brand new toilet. And what would you say, Jamie?
You rent the toilet.
Yeah, rent the toilet. No, I mean it's in an apartment. I don't have the new one. Let's think. A brand new toilet. And are you talking about installation too? Because I know you don't know how to install something. You're definitely a pay for everything kind of guy, right? Around the house.
Nobody knows how to install a toilet. Yeah. No
some handymen do, Adam. We obviously don't, but some people do know how to do these things. None of us three know, but some of these people do know how to do these kinds of things. But anyway, so you're going to pay for it. Is it just the toilet or also the installation?
You go to Home Depot, you look at the toilet, how much do they cost?
Just the toilet. Let's say for just the toilet, I'll think maybe like 1,200.
What?
Is that too much or too little?
It's more like 150.
No, it's not.
Oh,
well, it depends.
that's it?
So I'll give you a story because we're in the process. We're going to redo 2 of our bathrooms
Not expensive
and
at all.
eliminate. We have a half bath. We're going to eliminate the half bath as part of redoing the kitchen. And so when we bought the house, we put a new toilet in the half bath. And so the same toilet I think we paid $400 for it is now $700.
Oh my God, that's very expensive toilet.
And now I have a very precious butt. And then so my wife doesn't want to. She wants to just move the toilet. And so, but we're doing it in sort of like segments. So like we would have no toilet in the half bathroom when we move it. So that's like the dilemma we're dealing with right now.
Oh yeah. No, you can definitely get a solid toilet for $150, $200, and
that sounds like you're getting something, not that you want to use.
Toilet paper. Ma, the toilet paper.
Cheetah says, "Hey, you're out of toilet paper." All right. Last. This is literally changing my bathroom sink. Listening to you guys from Sam.
Hopefully, you didn't
Sam,
pay
where do you live?
$1,200
Because Adam needs you to come install his toilet.
And hopefully, you didn't pay $1,200 for it. What a bad.
I need you to help with my kitchen sink so I can brush my teeth.
Yeah.
All right, last question here. Pick a flex if Watson doesn't play. Richie James, Brandon Cooks, Romeo Dobbs, or Greg Dortch?
I would go Cooks.
PPR. I think I'm going to go James. I feel it. I feel good about Hodgins and James this week. I'm sure I'll be burned.
Dan is the type of person who buys reusable toilet.
No.
Oh,
No, Taylor. No.
Dan is on the toilet to avoid moving his toilet because it's too expensive. All right, everybody. Thank you for the toilet humor. And have a lovely day and a great weekend and a happy new year. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, we're there.
Our last show of 2022.
Yep. Wow.
Yeah, crazy.
Awesome.
No bonus podcast, please. Talk to you Sunday, everybody. Good luck. See ya.